Hey guys, today we're going to be interviewing the artist named ChYld, and we'd like to know some stuff about you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up? It's ChYld. I'm an artist straight from Camden, New Jersey. Literally just dropped an album last month titled Something Came to Me.
Magicness placed upon the pen and page, a pad of composition. Tell my competition, ambulances must assist them. I'm on a tandem, foot on the pedal, palms on the handle. These niggas tangent, your circle is damaged. Please don't cross those lines. Side, behind the, get behind the drum. I kill them by the threes, check ellipsis, headshot period, and eclipse and spit shit like I got a just a stuttering list. I Spike Lee, these niggas acting too different. On my 25th hour, kid niggas didn't start my sentence. Cite me, line 16, listed me. He'll need some Listerine. Listen to these fleas trying to sweat it.
And doing my interview with Rap301. What's up, man?
What's up? How's your day going today?
My day's going good. It's been more chill than the other days, so I'm excited about it.
That's always really good. Also, I was going to also ask you on the introduction part if you would want to explain your favorite part about being an artist so far.
Ooh, my favorite part about being an artist so far. I would say like just getting to meet the people. Like going to the shows is sometimes a hassle getting to the shows, but as soon as you're at the show after you perform and you just get to like just talk to people, um, just figuring out like where they're from, what they do on their day to day, and then what brought them to the show. I think that's one of my favorite parts. But yeah, I think that's it.
That sounds like a really good part, just like having like that, like as being an artist, like having people come to your shows and like why they came and like all that stuff. That's like a very
Yeah.
awesome thing to have.
I think it helps build your community a lot more. So just to, meet and connect with the people and you have like this shared experience now because I got to talk to someone that's a true supporter and they got to talk to like, one of their favorite artists. So I think that's dope.
Yeah, I like, even with me, like for like, not as an artist but as this page, and like
Yeah.
having like connection with a community and like other pages that have similar like opinions and whatever, like just discussing music with them is a very nice thing to have that connection with. So like I could see why that's
Hmm.
such an important thing for you to have.
Yeah, you gotta build your community, man.
So on to my next question here. How has music changed your life so far, for better or for worse? Like you can go
Ooh.
through pros and cons if you'd like.
Um, Pro wise, I would say like music changing my life. I get to travel because of music. Um, Man, it helped me just like uh when dealing with tough times, helping me to, just write it down and just when I write it, then I kind of understand my thought process and um how exactly I'm feeling and I can explain it to others. Um so it helped me like, verbally, express myself. Because at first I would just dance and I wasn't talking to anyone. It was kind of like I can't really connect with you, but I can show you in like these three moves like how I was feeling over top of someone else's song. Um, Con wise, I don't really have a lot of cons. I would just say like I invest everything into this,
Yeah,
so
like
sometimes I'm broke.
the busyness of it too, just like
Yeah,
it's good
I
and
invest
bad.
time.
Yeah.
I invest time. I invest money. I invest like a full entire thought. My days are invested into music, which is like it's a pro and a con in itself. Because sometimes I miss out on things that I want to make it to, um, or like just missing time like with family and friends and stuff. Like sometimes it sucks, but then I can show them a picture of what I like just got done doing, and that's like I know that they're proud of me. So it's pros and cons to it.
Yeah, it's good that like there's not many cons to it as well. Like just being able to enjoy it, even if it's a stressful
Yeah,
time at sometimes, but having like,
but
able to
you
update
gotta
your
have a
friends and
passion
family.
for it.
Exactly. Which I can see that you do have that passion for it and that you're very invested into what you're doing right now and that you're doing incredible things so far.
Oh, thank you, man.
You're welcome. So, this is for the people that don't know about your album. I was going to ask you, for people that haven't heard your album, how would you explain the concept of your new album, Something Came to Me?
Ooh. All right, so that's a good question. Something came to me is a mantra that I've been using for the past couple of months to just manifest blessings. And it's also like coming off of the EP Something. Um it's a collective of songs that I've built within the past 10 months. So something literally just came to me in the form of a dream. I barely see a break of bread, but I'm still fine. So it's like it's telling you like, here, this music came to me. It's my passion. I want to share it with you because it's literally it comes to me so easily. Um and just manifestation. I'm a big believer in manifesting. Um so just having that as an album title, and I have to say it almost every day that hey, like, yeah, hey, did you listen to something came to me? Like, hey, here's something came to me. Like, this is an album. So I'm like just putting that into my conscious mind from my subconscious mind. Um, but if I had to like really explain like track wise, um, here's me just uh at the level that I am right now, showing you what I can do, rapping and singing, songwriting, uh, and in my beat selections. Like I think this is the best work that I've put out so far.
And that's what I liked about the album a lot. Like, is just like seeing that like this music, like it came to you and it was like it didn't just come instantly, and that you like put a lot of work into it and it came to you.
Oh yeah.
And that like that's what I really loved about the album itself, is just like every track feels like you have like a connection to it in a way. Like each track is like a part of you, and like you explain certain stories, and every track actually has like a purpose in the album, which I respect a lot when an artist does
Oh
that.
yeah.
And each track has a meaning instead of just being there to be on someone's playlist. And that's
Oh
what I
no.
respected a
These
lot
are
from your
my
album.
these are my babies.
Yeah. So
Each album is like a child, and these tracks are like different personalities of them.
yeah, and so the question that I was gonna ask, like part of this same question, is what would you say right now is your personal favorite off the album?
Ooh. I would say my personal favorite is Miss Me.
Miss Me is
Um,
incredible.
because it came together, first of all, like two separate parts of the song, then we combined them. But the first part was like one of the first things that Max he sent to me. And I just started writing because I'm like, how did he even get this idea out? Um, Production wise, because I'm like inter beginner and intermediate level of producing. So me hearing this, I'm like, how did he do this? And then I'm like, okay, I have to rap over this, and let me use like let me try to make my flow fit the snare of this song. Um Man, but just the storyline of it is like me being completely honest and vulnerable with my listener about how touring was for me, or how this journey has been so far for me, because a lot of people they'll see Instagram and they'll see like TikTok, and they'll be like, this might be easy, oh, this is great, and I'm not like, not being a sucker for instant gratification. Like, this is a lot. And I just have, I'm very passionate about it. So I know that I have to keep going because I have to see what this brings. So that's why Miss Me is like a big, and it's very motivating.
Yeah, it is.
Like
That's one of my favorite tracks as well off your album.
oh, thank you. I made it to like, I'm like, I have to tell this story to motivate whoever's listening. But during that process, I'm also motivating myself, because if I stop right now, then the past, I've been writing since 2011. So the past, what is this? This is 2020. The past 12 years have been like, what are you doing this for if I stop right now? You know?
Exactly. And I
So,
can relate to that in a way where like not for music, but just in the sense of like, oh, like every single like day, like putting the work into it, and like a slow like reward each time like a milestone
yeah,
hits. It's not like an instant gratification where everything comes
no, not
instantly.
at all.
And it's the same thing with running an account, is like you have a lot of those instances where some days it might be a day where not a lot's happening for music and also for yourself. So you're just like, oh shit, what the hell do I talk about? Do I like, how do
Yeah.
I get people to engage today on a certain topic? And like coming up with that, but
Mm,
like knowing that like my end goal is like just to make connections with artists, with people, with pages, and just make connections and friendships. That's like my main goal really, is just like in the music industry, and like being like a part of it in the way of being a page that talks about artists. I
yeah.
don't want to be a thing that just like okay, we're talking about the mainstream, that's it, or I'm not really like actually talking to these artists that I want to talk to. Like I'm actually like giving that time to each individual to show that like connections are worth more than uh getting that viral tweet all the time or viral
Yeah.
post. It's more about
No,
making the
but
connection for me.
the thing about that is that when you gear towards what you want to do instead of what everyone pays attention to, like it's probably easier. It'll be easier for you to talk about mainstream shit. But the fact that you're actually like digging into like these underground artists and the music that you like, um which is like that, alternative rap or rap across the board that isn't mainstream. It might not get the millions of views right now every day, but you're building this community that also love what you love, and then eventually as the community builds, it's like, oh, okay, now we're seeing these like, you know 2,500, 25,000 views in a day, and then, oh, now we're getting a million views a day because I found all of the people that's in my community now, you
Exactly.
know
I agree with that too, because like it's building that connection with a small part of people at first, as well as growing the connection with the artist if you know have access to it. Like not
yeah.
everyone can talk to their favorite artist all the time, or talk to the people that inspire them. And
Hmm.
having like the small connections at first, and just being able to make friendships, like it's even like with my community, building that, but also building the friendships with the people that I do these interviews with, as well as just outside the interview stuff, like with you, for example, or with other artists I've talked to. We don't really
Yeah.
talk about like how to make each other bigger like all the time. We're just like talking about daily things, making a connection, getting to know each other. And that's what I look for
Yeah.
more than just, oh, how do I benefit off of you, or how do you benefit off me?
Yeah, and that's why I think, like, going back to your first question, why one of my favorite parts is like after the show or even before the show, just getting to talk to people, um, and just learning more about them. Cause then I can like in my Discord or even on my TikTok live, like I know some of them, like their work schedules. Like I know what they do on their day to day, and it's like it's helping me build my community and me building this relationship with them. That's more than, like, it's because of music, but it's more than the music now.
Yeah,
So
which
I
isn't
think I
which
think
is
that's a
important
big
to
thing.
have. But it's an important to have that kind of connection, because you feel like when you're just putting out the music and you're not really connecting with your fans, it's like, what are you really doing it for if you really can't, like, for yourself obviously, but if you can't, like, talk to your community and build that community and make it strong, it's like, what else are you really doing it for? The whole point is so that people can relate to what you're saying,
Yeah.
to feel like they're accepted into your community, and like that you care about them and they show that they care about you. It's like that's what a whole thing needs. If it only has the one half where it's just like, oh, the community is the one showing love, but the artist isn't really connecting with them, then the community doesn't like last as long or last
Yeah.
forever. A lot of artists stop caring about communities and like building that community. Not all artists, but
No,
there
I
is those
think
artists that are very disconnected.
that's the biggest thing, because then you'll have like these ride or die fans, to where like someone could say something about you publicly and they're like, uh that's not who I met. Like that's not the person that I've been sitting on these live streams or I talk to after the show. Cause like some artists, artists have bad days too. To
Hmm.
where like you might meet an artist one day and they're like, oh, they're not, oh, they had an attitude, and oh, they're an asshole. And it's like, no, like they were they were having a human experience. But the people that are in like their that are in their community, and they know like, oh, they just lost someone in their family. An outsider wouldn't really know that. They would just know like, oh, this person makes music, and I want to go take a picture, and they were being an asshole because they didn't want to take a picture. But
Hmm.
their community know that they just lost someone and they haven't been in their best headspace, so they would go to bat for them and let them know like, hey, like this is a human being you're talking about, and they're actually a really great person, because I got to talk to them on multiple occasions when those they weren't having those days.
Hmm. Yeah, it's a lot of people just because they like someone's famous and they're thinking like, oh, they're not a normal human being. They're famous. Like
I don't know where that
exactly.
perspective comes,
I don't know where it
because
comes from, but because
Well,
those
I
artists don't
do.
show that part of their life,
It's
I guess.
media.
Yeah, it's whatever the media
Yeah.
presents. So if the media is presenting this artist as like, oh, they're all happy all the time, they have no life problems, they have so much money, then like, people are gonna be like, okay, why are they complaining about this like a month later, like about something random? They're like,
Yeah.
okay, this
Yeah, you
person has
start to
everything.
they're like, you're idolizing a person, and forgetting that they're a person. It's like everyone has these human experiences. They might not put it in, they might not post it to their Instagram. They might not post it on their social media platforms, but they're going through some of the same shit that these regular people, or you want to say, are going through on a daily basis. Like this person is like having normal human experiences. They just make amazing art.
Exactly.
So
I just think it's a lot of people like they get built up in their own life, and then when they see a famous person going through something, they're like, well, they don't know the exact context of why that's happening, but they're like, oh, this person
yeah.
has like they shouldn't have any problems. They have money, they
Well,
have a
you
good
have
life.
money, so you shouldn't be sad. And it's like, nigga, I just lost my cousin. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
Like, what? What do you mean I shouldn't be sad? Oh yeah, this shit's wild.
So this is a question kind of on like not like that necessary topic fully, but it's more just a question I was more curious about. Like, have you ever like fully like rapped about a very bad experience in your life, like that either taught you something or like just like you needed to express? And what song would you say is like not even a bad experience, but just like experience that isn't a fun thing to talk about?
Uh, I feel like I always add like this one song on. I have like one song on each of my albums that like uh that opens a very vulnerable side of me to my listener, to let them know that I'm not perfect. To where like for the soul, I believe it would be change. Eyes towards the sun would be eyes towards the sun, and then on something came to me would be 11. So on those three tracks is letting you know like changes how I'm dealing with depression, and how I had to stop drinking and smoking to ease, like not even ease, to like run away from these problems that aren't going away. I have to face and deal with them. Eyes towards the sun is me being a deadbeat cousin, because I'm now on this musical journey and I have to miss these family events, and I'm missing a lot of shit within like my family's personal life, to where like I'm missing weddings and baby showers and like graduations and shit. And it's because like I'm making music, and I have a show in Brooklyn, and I have to get to New York now, or I have a show in Chicago, and I have to miss this right now. And then on something came to me 11 is me letting you know about my childhood, which I haven't dig that much into, because we like to move forward. um but me letting you know my childhood and how I started writing and why I started writing, and was to deal with what was going on in the space around me. um so I feel like I always have to add one song that lets you know like, yo, everything isn't like butterflies and rainbows.
Which I
Shit
which I
is.
respect what you do too for that. Just like allowing yourself to be vulnerable on a track and release that to the public, and just like allow people to hear your experience, and not just be like, oh, like butterflies, as you were saying. Like it's a very hard
Oh,
thing for an
yeah.
artist to do, is like express what they're going through. But it also can be therapy in a way for you to
Yeah.
express yourself on a song in that
And then
way.
the craziest thing, like we were talking about before the interview, um like a lot of the people that I went to high school with, um we've gone high school, middle school. I think one of my friends is middle school. We are in these classes together for hours a day, and we never like talked about the experience that we both shared growing up, like having trouble in living situations, or even just growing up in a very impoverished neighborhood, to where when I talked about on 11, and they're like, yo, like they text me after listening to the album, and they're like, hey, we've been friends since like 6th grade. We were going through the same things at the time, and I didn't know that. And I was like, damn, we should talk about it now, because this song helped open that conversation to let us know that we related to each other. And at that time, I thought I was alone. I was like, damn, I don't think anyone else in this school is going through what I'm going through. And then come to find out that almost almost like all my friends are going through it.
Yeah, which is the
Uh,
special thing about music too, is just like you can find out a lot of like about a person through a song, and like if, for example, like friends are like relating to what you're saying and they were going through certain things like that as well, like them messaging you and like saying like, hey, like we were both going through this, like how come we didn't talk about it? That's the special thing about
yeah.
music, is it opens like doors to new conversations just with like
It's
close
that
friends or your
conversation.
community as well.
Like it's like my friend that we've been friends since middle school is like that's 12, 13 years in the making of friendship, and we never talked about this. And it's like, but we related to it, and we were a little bit too prideful, or just afraid to be vulnerable with each other to even say like, hey, how was your living condition? Like, oh shit, I had the same thing. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
just it's really wild, but I'm happy that a song like 11, I was able to open that conversation with a friend.
Yeah, that's a special moment too, just especially for you to have that moment with a friend as well that you were close with when you were growing up. Just to have
Yeah.
that is like a beautiful moment in life, just to be like, oh shit, we were going through the same thing. I thought, we both, like, I thought
Yeah,
I was
you
the only
always feel
one.
like you're by yourself.
Exactly. This is a kind of a nice follow up question to the last question I had, and so my question would be: are there any mentors or key figures in your life who have guided your artistic direction?
Ooh, it's a lot of them. I don't want to get into like because it's a saying, you study the greats and become great. So
Mm-hmm.
I study a lot of the greats. But I would like to dig into like personal and in my community, to where there's a trumpet player by the name of Arnetta Johnson, to where she works her ass off. She like that's like I can say like she genuinely works her ass off. Uh, she was on like she got picked up in high school by Jill Scott. She was on on Coachella with Beyonce. She went to Berkeley College, finished all 4 years, graduated, um, still touring right now, and I got her on my album. She did horn arrangements for me, but just seeing and watching her journey. And we also went to the same high school, just, different times. But seeing and watching her journey, and knowing that, she works her ass off for the position that she's in, it's like, all right, I get these obstacles thrown at me, and it's like, mm, damn, like this person didn't turn that down. So, like, I should keep on working. Or, like, Arnetta's on tour and she is off for 2 months and about to go back on tour. So, you shouldn't complain about touring life. um and then like other mentors, gosh, because it was a long time where I was looking for a mentor within rap, and I couldn't find it around me, so I went to music to find mentors in rap, which like now outside of my community, now we're getting into like me listening to like MF Doom, or listening to Andre 3000, or well, Outkast, listening to Outkast, but studying Andre 3000's flows, and then studying big boys like witty ass like punchlines, like just studying shit like that. Studying J. Cole and Kendrick, to where those are like the mentors that I look up to in music, because these are arguably the greats of
Mm-hmm.
rap. These are the greats. So let me study these great beings. But mentor wise in my community, I would say that's Arnetta Johnson.
Nice. And so, what would you say like was your like actual like process for like studying these grades? Like, how did you like study
Ooh.
them?
MF Doom. I studied MF Doom flows and his rhyme schemes, because he has like these uh he'll do like these external rhymes, but he's also doing these internal rhymes that he'll rhyme this whole bar with the next bar, and but this bar related to the bar that was before the bar that was before the bar. So it's like studying that from MF Doom, or studying Andre 3000's flow, to where sometimes he'll drag some of these words but then speed it up at the end of the bar, or he'll speed the beginning up and drag these words to make it fit with whatever he's saying in this unorthodox ass flow. um but those are like, when I say studying, I'm like really studying what they're saying, how they're saying it, their beat selection, and why did they choose this beat, and oh, it's because this synth is in, or this synth is making you feel like joyous, and these chords or um these chords are bringing this emotion, or these drums down to a fucking hi-hat. uh it's intentional.
Hmm.
um so me studying that, or me just studying them as people, because I'm like, all right, you have this persona in media, but they have this whole different they have this whole different approach to even when they make their music, to where like let's see, one of my favorite things from Andre 3000. He said, I have more fans than an average man, but not enough loot to last me to the end of the week. I live by the beat like you live check to check. So if it don't move your feet, then I won't eat. So we like neck to neck. To where Outkast was one of the, I think this was before they got that award, but they're like big as hell in the South at the time. And they're letting you know like, hey, I still have the same issues as you. It's just I have more fans.
Yeah.
Like, bro, I still, just how you work your 9 to 5 and you get paid at the end of 9 to 5, I have to now make these songs to make what you make.
Yeah.
I just have more people watching me than you do. Um, so yeah, just studying shit like that, man.
Yeah,
I think that's about it.
yeah, which I relate to. And the other aspect of like what I do is like I'll like study a lot of like stuff from like Nardwar or like NFR is
Mm,
a big inspiration as of like the last 2 years, where I just
yeah,
like look at their content, be like, oh, what's like, how do I come up with such creative ideas? Oh, how do I do this
yeah.
kind of thing but in my own way? Because I like
You
that
can't be
idea.
afraid to study.
Exactly. And like that's what I relate with you is like you have like that kind of same process where you just find what you can and study like your favorites and like
Yeah,
okay, how do they do that? So then okay, I'm going to go and try to write like this, like challenge yourself in a way and like open
yeah.
up
Because the
new
craziest thing
horizons.
with some rap artists, they'll let you know the mistakes that they made within their music, and then the things that actually worked out. um and a lot of it is due to hard work and being consistent, to where a lot of the artists, they'll put that in their songs. Like, it's a never ending thing. You can't get comfortable here because you still have to get here. Which one of the artists I would say, like, Jay, listening to Jay Z will let you know, like, out of all the albums that he dropped, hey, I stayed consistent and I was working. This song shows that, not everything was perfect, but I kept working my ass off, and then you get songs like this. Like, Jay-Z lets you know that. But yeah, don't be afraid to study.
Exactly. Like that's why it was one of my questions too, is just to let people know like don't think of like if you're looking at someone else's work as like, oh, you're gonna copy them. No, you're like you're finding the
Uh-huh.
inspiration and studying how to make what
Go
you
study.
do better in your own
Yeah.
way and your own personality for it as well. That's what it all comes down to.
Man,
So my next question for you, and you can say multiple people if you'd like, but you don't have to. What would you say is the most rewarding aspect for like collabing with other artists? And like, do you have an example of like an rewarding
mm,
moment like after collaborating with an artist on a song?
all right, so one, I love collaborating. I treat art, uh I treat rapping and making songs like art canvas. So my producer is providing the canvas. I have this specific color of paint that I want to add on, but I don't want this one art to just have one color. I want to add in someone else to bring their colors in. Or I think my favorite, ooh, because I have one with rap and I have one with the instrumentalist. I'm gonna do the instrumentalist first. I have when Arnetta did the horn arrangements for the intro track, something. Getting to hear them in the studio, just warming up and now practicing their hits and their lines. I'm like, I'm in there with goosebumps because I've always dreamed of having, live instrumentation on my album, which I've done it before. I just never had this saxophone and this trumpet and this trombone all together before. Um, so yeah, I'm like getting goosebumps just watching them rehearse, and then professional as hell, getting in the booth and uh getting it down in like 3 takes, and I'm like, damn, what the fuck. Um, but I enjoyed the hell out of that. And rap wise, I would have to give it to Chris Patrick, because Chris Patrick raps his ass off. I sent him over Come Down, opened up the space for him to hop on Come Down, and I sent it over. He was just uh, the communication was just there. Like I didn't have to be on him about sending back a verse. He was just for it. And then when he sent it back, I'm like, it exceeded expectation. I'm like, yo, bro, this is fucking beautiful. And I thank you for bringing this idea to life, because what I envisioned for it, it doesn't even come close to what he did, because it was perfect. Um, but yeah, did I answer that question right? Did I answer your
Yeah, you
question?
answered it correctly. Which is, I was gonna
Okay,
say
thank
something
you.
funny, relating to what you last said about working with Chris Patrick. Is that my literal next question was literally asking how it was working with him on that song,
Oh,
which you already explained it. So it was a 2-in-1. So
oh
yeah,
shit. Oh yeah. Well, it was beautiful. Because his communication skills are just up there, to where I think I sent him the track when he was in LA. Um, because he's from Jersey, and I'm like, yo, if I can get him like in the studio or something, that would be beautiful. But he was in LA at the time, so I'm like, okay, let me send this track over. Um, he kept me updated, and I think this is when like the flooding was happening in California, so he's like updating me every day, like, hey, so this just the flooding happened, the studio is closed for the day. I'm gonna see if I can get there tomorrow. Got there tomorrow. Hey, here's the verse that I did. How's it sounding? I'm like, bro, why are you asking me? I think this is beautiful. Um, and then he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna add another layer to it, and I'll send it over tomorrow. Send it over tomorrow. Hey, and then he was just like really like tapped in with the release, to where he's asking me like, hey, when is it coming out? Hey, did you figure everything out for the release? Hey, if you need any help with anything, just let me know. Um, and I just thought that that was beautiful in itself. Like he was very caring about the album coming out. And then he was in Chicago recently, and I got to go to his show. But before that, the day before, he was practicing for his show. And he welcomed me, my brother, and my friend Ja to the studio that he's practicing to. And I'm sitting there like trying to like remain calm and just take this all in, because it's like, oh shit, first of all, I'm in a studio that Samino and Monty Booker started up in. And I'm watching this dude that I've been listening to his music for like the past 4 or 5 years practice. He's on my album, and I'm watching him practice for a show that's tomorrow. Um, I just thought the whole experience was just beautiful. It was just beautiful, man.
so my next question for you would be, can you walk us like through the story or the message behind your most popular song, NBC?
Ooh, NBC, man. All right, so shout out to Curdy. Curdy sent me over a beat pack, and I was driving home. I want to say it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. Why? I don't know. But I was driving home playing the beat pack, and I passed by NBC, and I'm like, well, I think the beat for NBC was like Water. It was something else. But I'm listening to it, and I'm like, first listen, I'm like, I'm using this. Like, this has to be, I'm definitely rapping over this. And it took me a couple times of just listening to that on a ride home. I want to say I had like a 20-minute ride. It might have been like 25-minute ride home. And I'm just listening to it, right? And I'm sitting outside my house just listening to it. And I'm like, I'm starting to get the flow of, I'm starting to get the flow of that. And I'm like, ooh, I gotta fill in words. Let me fill in words. So I start typing, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be a dope track. And at first I overthought it a lot, because I'm like, it's not something that I'm used to. Um, to where like down a recording, I was like, I already knew that I was overthinking it, and I'm like, I'm not gonna overthink it while recording. I'm just gonna do it and see how I feel about it. And it came out great. And then uh, I didn't have plans on releasing it yet until I met up with Wise Boy Jeremy. Shout out to Wise Boy Jeremy. I We had a show at Stockton, and I got him on stage with me. And afterwards, we were just like playing each other unreleased tracks. And then I played him NBC, and he asked me, he said, "Why are you still sitting on this? Like, why is this not out?" And I was like, "You think I should put it out?" And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay. I want to say like a month later, I dropped NBC and I dropped the snippet of the music video we shot first, and that I think it did like 80,000 on TikTok. That was like the first one, and then I just kept posting, and it was doing good, post after post after post, and I'm like, oh shit, I should keep doing this. And then I started, shifting content, like just trying everything out. Um, and then one of them hit 1.5 million, and I was like, oh, this is nice. And then I saw like the spike in streams, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. Let me keep going with the content. And I'm happy that NBC was well received on TikTok, because I didn't, it being a boom bap East Coast rap is not mainstream. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to do, but I'm happy it was well received. But I think that was like the process of NBC being NBC.
Yeah, and then congrats also on being on Team Dreeville's page for that song as well, and as
Oh,
well as
thank
Dissect's
man,
podcast. Those were two incredible moments. I feel like. Can
man.
you explain like your initial like thought when you saw that for the first time, like that video on
All right, I'm gonna
Dissect's
start with
podcast?
the. You want me to start with Dissect, or you want Dreamville first?
Whatever you prefer.
All right, I'm gonna start with the Team Dreamville page, because I've been following them for a while. Uh, and I think I don't know what I was doing, and I was just like, I should probably check Twitter, because I'm like, I'm on TikTok and Instagram more than I am on Twitter. So I'm like, let me just check Twitter and I open it, and I'm like staring at my phone like this. I'm like, what the fuck? But then I see the post, and I'm like, oh, Team Dreamville just shared NBC, and it's doing well. Like, I've seen them post shit, and it didn't do well, and I'm like, yo, this is a really great song. Why isn't this doing? And then they post NBC, and I'm like, oh, this is, people are listening, and they're retweeting it, and they're commenting, and they're liking this, and they're going to the link, and I see them sharing the link for it. Man, it made my heart so happy, because I just been watching their page for the longest, following them for the longest, and just to be able to be posted was really great. And then I actually got to talk to the person behind the page, and I'm like, oh shit, you're dope. And then with the Dissect podcast, I've been listening to Dissect podcast for a while, to where I listened to their breakdown on because of the internet. I listened to their breakdown of Igor, Flower Boy, Damn. Like, I'm studying, so I'm like, I want to know what made this song, and why do I love it so much. So Dissect podcast gave me that experience. I kept saying diecast. Dissect podcast gave me those the information that I needed to know why I like this song so much, or the chord progression, or what they're saying, the flow, and they're just really breaking it down. So just to have them break down a section of NBC, I was like, what the fuck? It's like, it felt like a full circle moment. Um, and it just felt really great, because this is like things that I love, uh, and they're sharing it. They're sharing something that I've made. These are platforms that I love, and they're sharing something I made. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Well, like I couldn't imagine being like there in that moment where like you see like these people you follow like post about your song, and like the first like thought of like that would just be crazy. Like I've had
Oh,
like
yeah.
relatable moments to that, just like in general, like seeing a comment of mine ending up in a video of someone else's that like I watch. It's like, oh shit, like that person like saw my thing, and like they
Yeah,
agree with it, or like they have a cool opinion on it. And it's like I agree, like seeing that is like such a heartful moment. When you see it, you're just like, damn, like you feel really good afterwards. And it's such a like it makes what you do even more worth it, if that like makes a lot of sense. Like you're just like, oh shit, what I
yeah,
did is like connecting with people, or I get to share my opinion, and I get to hear one of my other favorite YouTubers like react to it and share their opinion. It's a good moment to have, just like you see other people's like thoughts that you look up to, or even just like their content. So
yeah. It's
great answer.
very, very rewarding feeling.
So for my second last question for you would be, has your hometown or upbringing influenced your sound or lyrics at all?
Oh, of course. Camden. I love my city. It gave me gave me a lot of experience of just like you have to grow up a little bit more than you could be a kid, but you have to also just be aware of your surroundings. To where like songs like Hood Knowledge, that's on my first album for the soul. um that's like my ode to Camden. Just saying what I've seen growing up here, or knowing that a lot of kids out here grow up fast because they just awareness of surroundings. um but my environment, there was also like a lot of love within the community, to where it takes a village to raise a child. And there was a lot of people in my village that just helped shape the who I am and the way that I am. To be understanding, to be loving, to be caring, to be it's a lot of women in my village that just taught me that off the bat, and off the strength of just loving their community. So yeah, Camden has shaped a lot of my music, shaped a lot of my experiences with music, and just knowing that I can share these rewarding moments back to the people that's in Camden, and they might not understand it to the full aspect, to where they might not follow Dissect podcast, or they might not follow Team Dreams, or they might not know who some of the people that I'm meeting are. But just because it means so much to me, they just support it. So I love that.
Incredible answer, by the way. I have like no
Thank you.
extra thoughts there, but it's just a great. I love listening to that answer. So my final question is a two-parter in a sense. So the first part is, what is your manifestation / prediction for yourself next year as a whole, if you have any like manifestations for next year?
Manifestation, festivals,
Festivals.
touring. Like because I love to perform. I love to see the people, because then you get to really feel like I can't feel your energy behind the phone screen. I can know that you like something, I can know that you comment on something, but I can't see your facial expressions, like really. Like, even if you're online and you post a video, I can't really gauge your energy past that. I like to meet people in person, and just to give them an experience of performing. I love to perform. So like festivals, live performances, touring, meeting some more of the people that I look up to. So like I got to meet DJ Premier. Like I want to meet Common. I want to meet Black Thought. I want to meet Questlove. I want to meet Bahamadia. I want to meet Lauren Hill. And even if it doesn't happen next year, it's still on my list of manifesting. Um, what else? Oh, and just to collaborate with more of the people, producers, artists. But yeah, I think that's about it. More collaborations, more live performances, consistently creating content, and just building those platforms up. Because when you get to see that something is working, um, it's hard not to keep pressing your hand at it. Like, it's working. Let me keep doing this because it's evidently working. So I think that's about it.
So to add on to the thing you were saying about like, just like you want to work with more producers and artists and all that next year, as well as even if it doesn't happen next year, you still want like that as one of your goals. What would you say
Yeah.
is like a couple producers that you like really want to work with, like dream
Ooh.
producers?
Um. Gosh, let's run it down. Let's go with first, because I met him yesterday. Let's do DJ Premier, Ninth Wonder, Monty Booker, DJ Dahi, Hit Boy, The Alchemist. Oh gosh, where else are we at? Um, damn,
What about Mad Libs?
damn. Oh, of course, of course, of course. There's a whole list that I have. Uh, but there's a lot. There's a lot of producers that I'm kind of just like, yo, I hear your ear, and we just provide me the canvas,
Yes.
and I will paint something very nice.
I love that analogy, by the way. I was gonna say something when you said that before, but I love that
Oh
analogy of the canvas and having other
yeah,
people
because
put their
that's
different colors in. It's amazing.
that's just because it makes it less than because I feel like a lot of people, even with like rap being very competitive, a lot of people look at collaboration as I'm competing with you on a track, which doesn't make an enjoyable time for your listener. Your listener is listening for the great qualities that both of these artists have. So when I relate it to a canvas, and it's like, hey, I need you to put your color on this. Whether my color is yellow, blue, green, and your color is purple, orange, whatever. I need your color on this because it'll make a beautiful painting. Just add your color. You don't have to we're not competing with each other. We're competing to make a really great track that'll stand the test of time.
Yeah.
That's what I like out of collaboration.
I agree with that. A lot of collaborations can seem like it's like a competitiveness, and like it works with some tracks. Like, you know, like if that's the point of the track is to like you're showing off like your rapping ability and you want to like you're both down to compete, that is fine. But like in making like a song together, it should be like, okay, yeah, putting in this like part of yourself into the track, like your paint, like what you were saying with the canvas analogy is like you just don't want it to always be a competitive scenario. You want them to bring their own personality into the track, and not
Yeah,
just
because you have amazing qualities that I can't recreate that. I have amazing qualities that you can't recreate that. But we have to know that in going into this collaboration to know that I want you on this because you're you. And I'm going to rap on this how I rap on it because I'm me. Let's add that together and make some of the best shit ever.
exactly. So
But that's about it, man.
to end off our interview together, the final like question slash thing for you is there anything you'd like to tease slash say to the people listening and your community?
Oh, no, there's just more music at the top of the year. That's it. That's it. I don't really give out like snippets and teasers and shit
Yeah.
like that. But there's music. I've been creating constantly, so there's music. And it plans on being dropped at the top of the year, first quarter. So that's about it,
So I'm
man.
excited for it. And is there any producers in that like in the next year or so, not producers, sorry, rappers that you'd like to work with in the next year or so, like that you would
Um,
probably work with? You can name one or
Next
two.
year or so, um, I'm who really trying to tap in with people from the Chicago scene. But one specifically, I need to get a Mick Jenkins collab. Definitely a Mick Jenkins
Oh,
collab.
I would love to hear like what you guys, if you guys linked up for something. That's a collab that I think that would sound fantastic.
Like I have him. It's in my notebook. Like my notebook, I write down everything that I want because it helps me, envision it. It helps me visualize it better. But he's definitely top of that list. It's like I got to get a Mick Jenkins collab. He has to feature on something.
That's something that I even want myself. Just from you guys together, that would be an amazing song.
Thank you,
So
man.
anything you want to say to your fans before we go?
Oh, I love you guys. Go get in the Discord. And if you're not in the Discord, if you are in the Discord, shout out to the Discord because Discord is really like that's fam. We talk almost, I want to say every other day. But thank you. Keep supporting. Keep listening. I hope to get to meet you soon wherever you're at. And I think that's about it because you guys show love. So I appreciate that.
And if you guys haven't yet, go check out her new album, Something Came to Me. It's out on all streaming
Thank you.
platforms. It's incredible. Go check it out.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Peace.
So, yo, look, this is craftsmanship, an avalanche of magicness placed upon the pen and page, a pad of composition. Tell my competition ambulances must assist.